And S4, the captain of Alliance, is with us right now ahead of the match. And I wanted to first of all congratulate you on beating LGD yesterday. How did it feel?
It felt really good.
Yeah?
Thank you so much.
And you're on kind of a hot streak right now. I understand you're undefeated in group play. You're coming off of another big win. How are you feeling this morning?
We're feeling like the upcoming match against DK is going to be one of the hardest in this tournament. So we're pressured right now.
How have you prepared for this one versus previous matches?
We're going to stick to our style. We're not going to change. We're winning, so why change?
Yeah, why change anything? Yeah. S4, thank you. Best of luck, and look forward to chatting with you on the other side.
Thank you so much.
Henrik Arnberg, Admiral Bulldog, Trollhättan, Sweden.
Joachim Achterhall, Aki, Gothenburg, Sweden.
Jerry Lundqvist, EGM, Sweden, Västerås.
Jonathan Berg, Loda, Gothenburg, Sweden.
Gustav Magnusson, S4, Stockholm, Sweden.
Alliance, all members from Sweden. A huge amount of support for them out there over in Europe. And Admiral Bulldog, S4, Ake, EGM and Loda make the team. S4 in the interview said, well, we're winning, we don't need to change. It doesn't mean they're going to do the same thing, though, because Alliance seem to come into every game with a clear-cut plan, and they execute it perfectly.
Yeah, Loda was talking about that the other teams think they know what Alliance is going to bring, but they always think one step ahead. For example, the Roshan behind, they just seem to have everything prepared. And I don't know. The one thing I wasn't too convinced about was them actually picking LGD, because the first game was really, really shaky. And if you pick the fourth place team, you'd think that they can just easily 2-0 without either of the games looking close.
I think one of the things they do really well, when he say that they don't need to change, they still don't get complacent. They still do new strategies. They have a lot up their sleeve. So in a sense, they do change, because none of the teams actually know what to expect other than having to put up a hard fight. So I think Alliance is standing a really good shot at just taking the entire thing, which is also why I have them as a favorite going into this game.
I'm just thinking that I want to see a level 1 Roshan, even from Alliance or DK. If it was Alliance, it'd be like saying, yes, we did it to you before and we're doing it to you again. And if it's DK, it's like, we can also play your own game. So whoever's going to get Dire, watch for that hero picks, because if you get something like an Ursa or even a Lone Druid, it's pretty sure that they can go for that level 1 Rosh.
And it's a best of 3, so teams can afford.
Right. Oh, DK are looking forward to this best of 3, I'll tell you that, because, of course, as you mentioned, they did get level 1 Roast in a best of 1 versus Alliance. So let's meet the team that Alliance are going up against, which is DK.
And DK Super joins us now, along with the help of Josh, our translator from Dotaland.net. And I want to start off by asking how you have relaxed and prepared after yesterday's mega match.
就是问昨天打完很长的比赛，然后之后怎么休息，然后怎么准备今天比赛。
打完比赛我们就回酒店吃了个饭，开了个会，然后就聊一下今天BP 上应该怎么应对 A 队吧。
They just went back to the hotel after the match. They had dinner and then they held the team meeting and they discussed how to address the bans and the picks.
So what we saw with you and IG yesterday, we're probably going to see a very different match today with Alliance, a very different style of play. What might we expect from the team today that we may not have seen yesterday?
那觉得今天你们跟 A 队打的话，可能跟昨天与 IG 打的比赛风格会完全不同。那你觉得主要会在哪里不同？
比赛我觉得不管对手是谁，我们打出我们自己该打的东西，战术就差不多了。
He says maybe it doesn't really matter because as long as they as a team play to their own style, then that's how it'll go.
Well, a lot of people in the lobby are very excited to see what happens. Good luck, Super. Thank you for talking with us.
徐志雷 ，Burning， 安徽 ，China。姚毅 ，QQQ， 安徽 China。
白帆 ，ROTK， 陕西 China。
谢俊豪 ，Super， 广东 China。
雷生荣 ，AMY， 广西 China。
Team DK, in the interview, they seemed confident, and they should be confident. Yesterday, they beat out Invictus Gaming the former champions of the International. Now they go up against Alliance. Burning, MMY, QQQ, Super, and ROTK complete the roster for Team DK. And this is a tough one for Alliance. Now, Alliance's hardest game in the group stages was against Tongfu, who had a record of 8-6, and the third best record in the overall group stages was that of Team DK. So this should be the toughest match that Alliance have yet in the tournament.
I should say so. I mean, they picked LGD for a reason. We saw them come out in top 2-0. So, in a sense, DK obviously should prove a harder match because they beat IG, but I'm not sure. I think LGD might have been the better team of the two. I'm not too convinced in DK. I'm very skeptical after the game 2 yesterday. I'm just very disappointed in what DK had to show.
Yeah, but what about games 1 and game 3? I think they look very strong in those, and even though they should have won it, you can't. I wouldn't say they're stronger than LGD.
I honestly think that they were just playing the game 2 for the record. You know, like, we want to be longest game, most fun. We don't care about. We can lose game. We can always win game 3.
Praise Burning.
Yeah, just I mean, he's allegedly retiring after Ti3. He says he doesn't want to talk about it. People don't know, but I mean, if it's true, they want to play for him a little bit, and that will bring a plus to DK as well. I think they'll be extra motivated because Burning. So many important matches for him. The rest of the team doesn't want to disappoint. They will step up their game playing against Alliance, and everyone wants to beat the guy that's unbeaten.
What I do love about DK's play and strategy is the fact that they pick Enigma, for instance, and just choose to go with their own play style. Sure, they pick Visits, they pick Weaver, but aside from that, they go out of their way to just be unique in their strategies, and I like that a lot. I don't think Alliance is going to give them Weaver, and that's why I think this match is going to be really, really hard on them.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be the case. I believe the game will be starting in just a moment, so I've just got one question for you at the panel, guys. Rather than pick a team to win and why they're going to win, I want you to pick one player and why he is going to be important to follow for either team.
I
but
will
only one player.
Ake for Alliance because I feel this is his time to prove what Chen and Enchantress can do. I've been praying for this all tournament. I hope this is the game they're going to pick it. And for DK, I mean, Burning is the obvious choice, but I was really impressed with Super yesterday and his Racer especially, the most farmed Racer I've ever seen.
You're breaking my rules, man.
Yeah, it's
one player.
One player.
I'm going to go with Super. Super and Ake.
No. Only one team.
Oh,
you have to pick now.
Do you know what one means, Jacob?
Shut up. One for each team.
I think you're going with Ake, Ben.
I'll go with ROTK. I think he's really cleaned up his play as an offlaner, and as an offlaner, you're the secondary solo. You usually have a big impact in team fights. You have a lot of experience. You can't afford to give up kills like he did before, and he's really seemed to not get caught out of position, teleporting behind enemy lines. He had a really impressive Enigma yesterday, and I'm looking forward to see him.
Who should we watch out for, Bruno?
I'm going to go with EGM, the player from Westeros, because he's been amazing. His Naga Siren, his Wiz play is also very, very interesting to watch. I mean, he is a support player, but he's always next to the people that make things happen, and he's delivered so far perfectly.
All right, well, we'll see who is going to make the difference in the match because we are going to go to the hall for the first game of day 3 at the International 2013 Dota 2 Championships. Look at that. Said it all. It was easy. Hope you guys enjoy the game at home. Best of luck to both teams. It's Alliance versus Team DK.
Alliance versus DK.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Benaroya Hall, home of the Seattle Symphony. It's time for our winner bracket semifinals, the first match, DK versus Alliance. I'm LD, I'm joined here by Luminous.
I know there's picks and bans on the way, but can we take a little bit moment and talk about either of these teams? Alliance, we know what they've done so far. They are undefeated, but this is standard fare for Alliance. I know their player intro, team intro said they're the dark horse. I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah, dark horse?
Okay,
Have you been under a rock?
I mean, all right. I'm going to tap out here because I got notes prepared, right?
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the victories they had. Now, online tournament, TPL, undefeated victory. 2 Star Ladder victory. These are LAN tournaments. 2 DreamHack wins. And of course, the most amazing victory, going to China, winning G1 without losing a single game.
Undefeated.
Bruno earlier asked if there's a team that could win TI without being undefeated. This is a team.
Yeah, if anyone can go undefeated, well, it's got to be Alliance. Everyone else has lost so far.
Yep.
And on that note, coming into this match, I actually had a chance to talk to Kuroki in the hall as I headed down to the backstage area, and he actually said he thought it was 50-50. He felt Alliance was the slightly better team, but in terms of who could win, he really felt it could go either way. The teams are super evenly matched, and if he thinks it's close, then you know it is. So I'm looking at this one going 3 games and being a really back-and-forth series.
Kuroki and Navi in general really respect the Chinese teams. He thinks that particularly that the Western teams that are underestimating the DKs, your IGs, your Tongfus, they are shooting themselves in the foot. And DK walk into this series, I guess as an underdog, but you could never count these guys out. Burning, reportedly perhaps retired. There's rumors of MNY and QQQ. These are veteran players back in the dominance days of eHome 2010, 2009. These players could be retiring as well, so they want to go out with the bang. They don't want to disappoint their fans. They don't want to disappoint themselves for not trying their hardest, and they will give us their A game today.
They're legendary players, and Alliance quickly building their own legends. They've got some really old school players, Ake and Loda, and then the 3 new guys have been impressing. S4, EGM, Bulldog, a really back-and-forth match. And with that being said, we'll jump into the draft now. The draft started off with an Alliance first pick. DK, I like their bands a lot. The Bulldog, Lone Druid, and the Wisp. Just don't want to give those away. Pretty standard stuff from them. For Alliance, a first pick, Batrider, DK do get the Burning Weaver. Milk thought it might be banned out or denied to them. It's not, at least this game. They followed up with a Darkseer, so very elusive heroes. But then Alliance goes back for a Bulldog Prophet, and this is always hard to deal with.
Yeah, I think DK starting out with a hero, they have a 6-0 record. The Weaver is a very, very big deal. But they have to deal with a solo mid Alliance, or solo mid Batrider. A lot of other teams like to run Bat in jungle or off lane. But as for Bat, is probably the single Batrider player that I've never seen him actually get this hero and ever lost a game. Like, I think he has an undefeated record on this hero. The way that he plays and the way that he concocts pushes for his team is just marvelous, and I'm happy we're going to be casting a game with Bat.
Yeah, S4 Batrider, his movement has just been pristine throughout every single match. Even the games where they fell behind early, S4 just fantastic puck initiations. He dragged his team back into it, kicking and screaming, and they really rose to the occasion. I'm also interested to see if we'll see some Crystal Maiden here, Lumi, because Ake has been delivering an absolute laser light show in terms of those Crystal Maiden ults. We've also seen some big ults from other teams. It's a support on the rise, but if they want it, they probably won't go for it now. So we now enter the second stage of the ban. If you're DK, you've got 2 of your cores. Alliance actually banning out, I guess, potentially that solo mid for Super here in the OD. OD's normally been banned in the first stage, but he slips through.
Yeah, he slips through here, and a very smart ban coming out from Alliance, because OD is kind of a true counter to Batrider. You can Napalm and stack, he doesn't really care. You Firefly on him, he just orbs you out or Astros you out, and you back off. So, very smart ban coming out from Alliance. Meanwhile, DK banning out Keeper of the Light. I know a lot of players are saying, you got to ban the PL, because Loda's been doing really well on the hero, but I really think it is actually Keeper, because
I agree.
What Alliance really like to do, and you'll see it from Nature's Prophet, Batrider, and every Alliance player this game, is that they will stack the neutral camps all day long, and when you have illuminates and things of that nature to clear through those camps.
I think it's fair to say that they probably are the most efficient team in
by
terms
far.
Of if you let them farm, because not only do their support stack and move well and check the runes, but also get the stacks off, but you'll even see Bulldog get involved, especially on Prophet. He'll TP to the Ancients, he'll stack them. Some teams do this occasionally, but they are very religious about it. So, with that being said, we don't know what Loda's going to play yet. None of his heroes banned out. They're focusing for the time being on the Keeper of the Light, and now Alliance remove actually a Treant Protector. Something DK, I think, has run occasionally, but I wouldn't say it's really a go-to for them. The one Chinese team that has been running a lot of Treant is IG, but they're not in this game.
Yeah, traditionally in the past, Alliance has been going for 1 or 2 core strategy where you have Loda and sometimes Admiral Bulldog dealing a lot of the physical damage. And Overgrowth is actually surprisingly powerful against that kind of lineup where if your BKB gets popped and he just overgrowths you and suddenly your carry is not attacking. So it's a ban that perhaps is directed a little bit more towards the later game. And obviously there is the Treant Weaver combo, allows you to dive very effectively. So a little bit of an awkward ban, but it makes sense.
I mean, and we actually saw in that Tongfu versus Alliance game, for those who missed it, it was the prelims. There were a lot of matches going on. I think it was like 75 minutes, and Overgrowth won them the game.
Overgrowth was the amazing ultimate, and I always think that it's one of the worst ultimates in the game.
When everyone's got BKBs, if they're forced out, you root everyone, can be the difference maker. No damage, but if Loda has his 6 items, you don't need damage. All you need is lockdown. So now DK will ban out a Naga Siren, something Alliance have turned to a lot. Also a very annoying hero around the Roshan pit. And for DK, I do feel like securing Roshan in the mid game, they're on the dire side, is going to be one of their key objectives. They have an Alk now. They've got their 3 cores. They have no support, so they'll definitely pick one up. And we're going to see it. Melk should be excited. Here comes the Ake Chen. Oh boy.
Ake, sometimes known as the best jungler player in Europe. I think Puppy and him might have to contest for that spot.
Puppy might raise his fists at you when you say that.
They play a very distinctive, different style of Chen. Puppy's going to be focusing a little bit more on ganking as well as level early on. Puppy likes to sacrifice himself for the team a lot bit more. And Ake really kind of drives early game pushes for the team. So kind of similar, kind of different. We'll see how Aki plays it today.
Yeah, Ake will adapt though. So if DK goes aggressive tri-lane, you'll see him pick up a Wildkin, a Satyr, and early on he'll try and zone out the enemy supports, secure the pull for EGM. So if he needs to get involved, he will. But yeah, if he's got his choice, he'll sit back. Whereas, like you said, Puppy likes to go for the early ganks and really create space for Dendi.
And speaking of Ake, if I could give him a little bit of personal shout out, is that he's been with this girlfriend as of today for 10 years.
Boomy.
So, I mean, that's a long time.
And they're still together.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see if he's going to have a Last time when they won G1, it was his birthday. So I think he's like have this next level hack and planning all these LAN events around big kind of personal dates and, you know.
I got to say, I mean, with the kind of world traveling schedule that he has, that takes some commitment from both of them.
Right.
So that's nice. But back to the draft, now DK working on that next pick. They will go for a support here. What do you think the support choice is? Okay.
Well, it's going to be a Jakiro.
Darkseer, Jakiro. We've seen this combo. It used to be incredibly popular. Jakiro's Ice Path got nerfed. It fell off a little bit. But if you get it right, if you throw out the vac, you follow up with the Ice Path, much easier to do in a LAN environment, by the way. That can be huge. And he's also nice against Chen.
He's decent against Chen. He's pretty okay against Nature's Prophet Treant, but what he really provides you is a way to drag the creeps off the tower. For example, when they're pushing you with an army of creeps, you drag a couple off with your Macropyre and things of that nature. It can come in from a very far range. Ice Path, for example, Macropyre again. You want to defend towers, but not doing, or you want to do so by not putting yourself out of position against that Bat Rider, because you know S4 is going to be always looking for a kill. I was somehow expecting something like a Rubik, for example, because when Bat Rider jumps in, you lift him up, and suddenly S4 is out of position. So that's my guess for the last pick, actually.
That's actually a good point. DK doesn't have a great way to deal with Bat Rider initiations right now. Weaver can maybe time-lapse back or Sakuchi away if there's no gem, if he's really quick, but none of these heroes have a blink to speak of, and there's no disruption, there's no glimpse from a disruptor. I think that second support will see something that can help deal with the bat initiations. So if you're Alliance now, you don't have Lotus hero and you don't have EGM's hero, which one do you go for?
I think you want to go for EGM's hero first. Loda, well, never mind. Scratch everything that. It's going to be Anti-Mage.
Well, the fun might end here, at least for DK, burning up against his favorite hero in the Anti-Mage.
And of course, this is a very, very good matchup for Anti-Mage. Darkseer versus AM. If AM survives that early 1 or 2 level, and he will do that because he has Chen support, he will have EGM support. Darkseer, there's no way for him actually to really contest. Even if it's a 1v1 matchup, we've seen players in the past, Black, if he's watching from the audience, really love to take the fight straight up to the Darkseer, burn away all its mana and says, hey, I just got this lane 1.
You win the lane at level 1. That's pretty much the goal. Take the mana burn early, and he'll have help too here. So now the next set of bans are going to come out. I think Alliance will be banning that Shadow Demon. Probably the best support remaining in the pool. Maybe a Rubik to deal with the Anti-Mage. So they've got one ban to ban out a support. For DK, a support ban for them as well. The draft nearly complete. Do you think DK have enough lockdown here? Because we're obviously up against a great split push lineup from Alliance. They don't have a Storm Spirit. They don't have a Puck. How are they going to deal with this Anti-Mage and Prophet? Do they need something more?
I feel like they do need more lockdown, but they're banning out Bane, which is a hero that they could pick up themselves and give them a ton of lockdown. So I'm thinking they're angling for something that has both counter push and lockdown. So perhaps Rubik, for example. Shadow Shaman is a hero that they've preferred in the past, although kind of very, very level dependent.
And it is worth mentioning that Rubik's really nice against Anti-Mage, because if you can steal Blink, you can initiate on him and you can run. You become very hard to kill. It's a slightly weaker laning support and less defensive than, say, a Shadow Demon. Actually, though, Alliance are going to ban out the QQQ Enigma. We've seen ROTK play it as well, so it could go either way as far as who handles it. But DK have turned to this a lot. They've gone for that more greedy 4 position, and they've been happy to trade. And when you have Black Hole and you're on the Dire side, your ability to control the Roshan pick gets so much stronger, especially with Acid Spray, Vacuum Wall already. So DK won't have that massive combo, at least not on a greedy 4 position support.
Although with that said, I think Ben Wu brought this up, or was it Milk out there, that Alliance like to fight a lot, and you're not going to have Black Hole for every one of those fights. So perhaps Alliance, if they see Enigma a little bit later on down the road, they could definitely take advantage of the long cooldown of the Black Hole. But for now, they'll take it out. DK looking for one more support. Is it Rubik, or is it something else? No, it's going to be Shadow Demon. So it's going to give you a 2-prong thing. First, very, very very good against Bat Rider. When he initiates on you, you could disrupt whoever he gets dragged on, or disrupt the Bat Rider even. Or if you want to use it late game, pop it on the anti-mage and make his Mana Bird hurt him instead.
And this means no matter how big Loda gets, they can create 3 copies of him.
Yeah.
So Alliance are going to have a hard time taking the fights if it's just sort of an organized engagement. But they have Bat Rider and they have Prophet. And the mobility of this team with an anti-mage as well is absurd. DK, pretty mobile lineup in their own right for some of these heroes. The Weaver, the Darkseer, but the other 3, Alchemist, Jakiro, Shadow Demon, DK got to be careful with their positioning. And we're going to see, I think this is like the most standard Alliance draft you could ever see.
Yep.
EGM on a 4-position Windrunner. Keep an eye on this guy, because generally we see Windrunner as a farmer, but he really finds a way. Ake and him work well together to set up shackle shots and to just get a very fast pair of arcane boots, work towards the mech. He has a big impact.
I was staying with a friend for Ti3, and he walked up to EGM. He's a support player. He says, EGM, can you teach me how to play support? And EGM says, I play carry, and you'll see a carry Windrunner, even though it's going to be on support role. She just get a ton of items. It's like a 14, 15-minute Orchid even. Maybe, I think that's like only 1 game, but she gets it very, very quick. And we'll see how it's going to be laning. What's your expectation here for the lanes?
For DK, I mean, you look at their draft, and they've got a lot more options here. You have a Weaver, a Darkseer. If they wanted to go aggressive tri-lane, they, in theory, could with the Alchemist. Burning's on that. We've seen Burning actually not playing the Weaver this game. So Super looks like a mid-Weaver. But the question to me is, do they contest? And I think contesting against Alliance and against Ake's Chen is almost impossible. Ake seems to always just find the right creeps. They could go for it. They definitely have kill potential here, but the big risk is if you go aggressive, you could be traded without. It's time to get into game 1. DK versus Alliance, and on the dire side, we've got Team DK. It could be Burning's last international. It could be his last tournament. Can he bring home a trophy? We're going to find out. Burning on the Alchemist, ROTK on the Darkseer, MMY, or Die, going to be handling that. Jakiro, Super, the Weaver, and QQQ on the Shadow Demon. And on the Radiant, the Juggernauts, undefeated in the International 3. The big dogs on the block. Alliance, S4 on the Bat Rider, EGM, the support Windrunner, Loda, the anti-mage. We do see an aggressive movement here from DK. Ake, going to be handling that Chen. And last but not least, Bulldog, going to be playing that Nature's Prophet. So DK, aggressive foray into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, there's one more being dropped down. Makes me think that they're at least going to be...
They want to shut down Ake's Chen, it looks like.
I mean, you could... Well, ROTK is kind of standing in an awkward spot.
Yeah, big investment, but Alliance did see all of their movement through the jungle, and Ake's got a pair of sentries. Let's see how on the ball he is.
Ooh, QQQ walking deep. It's going to be warding another one here as well, so you may have sentries, but you only got 2, and there's 3 wards down so far.
Yeah, 275 gold already invested, or actually, yeah, 275 from DK, Alliance. I'll go for some quick D-wards. Ake trying to find the right position for this one. EGM rotating around. The rune's going to spawn, and game 1 is underway. DK versus Alliance. Here we go. Madmiral Bulldog heading towards the top lane. Burning. He'll be there as well. So they're going to run, looks like a defensive try. And I think when you have Alk, you don't have to contest Alliance. I mean, it sucks not to because they've got a lot of heroes that can really maximize that jungle, but you are running a safe lane Alk. And if you give him that free farm, you can do a lot in the mid game.
It really depends on what Burning goes for a skill build. We've seen in the past that teams have actually preferred only 1 point to Grievous Greed and get a very kind of combat-heavy build. If you look at Loda, you know what he's saving up for. He didn't even spend all of his early starting gold. He's going for a quick Hand of Midas, an item that will at least help him, keep up with the Alchemist.
Yeah, it could be a quick Hand of Midas, or maybe just the Battle Fury.
Sure, that's always the standard.
But if they don't contest Loda, he will go for the straight into the farming items. And now, the middle lane, we can look at this matchup. Super on a Weaver, up against S4's Bat Rider. Pretty aggressive early on. Generally, Bat Rider has the edge in 1v1s, but trying to kill a Weaver mid is pretty tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Your Flame Break have to be completely on point. In fact, if S4 might not even go for the Flame Break at the standard level, maybe he's going to just say, you know what, let's just try to out-farm Super instead.
And I want to point out, Alliance, they're going to go with what works for them this game, and like S4 said, we're winning, no need to change. So it means they know S4 will be mid, and they know he'll be mid on the bat. Super, starting with the Magic Stick. If you don't start this, the matchup can be a little bit tougher, but he should have a very easy time getting his farm. So mid lane looks pretty even for both teams. It's more down to what do those heroes do in the mid game. And then I guess the big question is, what do you think about the trade-offs elsewhere on the map? The jungles and the offlaners.
I think the jungle historically should favor Alliance, but with these kind of early aggressive wards, which I think 2 of them got dewarded now, Ake should be okay. They're not really stacking the jungle right now, so I guess advantage to DK. With that said, you can see that ROTK is slowing down the jungle because, well, Mike Golem spawn. It's always the very sick feeling that you're a Darkseer and you see, Mike Golems.
Burning missing a few CS here under the tower. In fact, quite a few. I mean, he's still farming pretty well.
Here we go here. We're going to see initiation right on Admiral Bulldog. Is he going to be the first blood? He has no mana TP out here, and we're going to see the rotation coming out.
The creeps denied by the neutrals. Bulldog gets a big bailout from the stack.
These trees are coming. He's going to go for the kill. Are we going to see a suicidal TP coming from Admiral Bulldog? Nothing, but of course, great deny, great aggro tricks. I mean, he drove the aggro from the neutrals and killed himself. Great play.
That's a big bailout for him. Nice job running into the neutrals, but just unfortunate. Burning, unable to get enraged in time for the stun. He is going Greevil's Greed, but now takes 2 points in Unstable Concoction, so it's not a Greevil's Greed first max.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what skill build he wants to go for. I think this is going to be a quick Shadow Blade. We've seen a lot of teams in the past have really said, quick Shadow Blade, give us a way to kill that Anti-Mage. If you just want to go farm, and trade, Anti-Mage in theory not only farms faster, but he pushes faster as well. Speaking of push, Loda and his team on the bot lane is going to get a tier 1 tower, and there's just no response coming out from a Darkseer.
Yeah, you look at DK right now, no TP up on MMY, QQQ, only 1 point Shadow Poison. They have a decent counter pushing support here, but the first tower is going to go.
Mid lane here, Super finds a kill using Swarm, Sakuchi, double damage, and I've never seen S4 die here on the mid as a Batrider.
Looks like he just bought his bottle, but a fortunate rune. It was spotted out by the Alliance. They had an Observer Ward bottom, so Super just outplaying S4 mid, finds the solo kill. Can he do it again? DD's still up. Gonna be wearing off fairly soon. S4's got to be careful here. He'll be okay for now. Super already almost has his time lapse. So once you have that and Batrider doesn't have lasso, you can really drive him off the lane.
Yeah, I just want to stress that solo mid Weaver against Batrider, very smart matchup. He's never going to kill you because you have Sakuchi.
Unless you waste your Sakuchi.
Right. And then Super hasn't really been doing that. Of course, now here comes some very aggression. Immediate Firefly. Super is going to be trying to run. There's any flame break. There is a single point. Not going to be dropping just yet. 2 stack on Super. Still taking a ton of damage. There's 8 magic wand charges though, so he should be fine.
Meanwhile, top lane, they're wrapping around. Bulldog hiding in the trees. Nobody's scouting him out yet. Burning. He's actually quite low here. Will there be a TP reaction? He's actually eating through the trees. He seems to know something's up. Now Bulldog will spawn some trance. He'll back off.
Body block.
It's QQQ. Meanwhile, trapped a bit by S4.
Body block.
Okay.
Top lane here. Burning, getting blocked by those treants tower. Not focusing on him. Admiral Bulldog making the best of the lane here. Now hits level 3. And if we look at the off-lane comparison, Admiral Bulldog, suicide to the neutrals, and Darkseer not really doing much. And I think Alliance is in the advantage.
Yeah, equal levels from these two. Prophet's definitely the better comeback hero than a Darkseer. Both heroes farm well, but I just think the Prophet puts a lot more pressure on the map in general. And on top of that, he's slowing down Burning. He's stopping the tower push as well. So you have to say Bulldog is doing more for his team now than ROTK, but where that could change is in the mid game if ROTK decides to take some fights with a level 3-4 vacuum, and you see the Ice Path follow up. So far, pretty close game. I'd be a bit worried if I'm DK because S4's farming well. The Blink Daggers, despite the death, isn't that far off. And Loda's getting complete free farm as Anti-Mage.
Yeah, nothing too much you can do about that. Super coming in. I just want to kind of commend on his item build. A single Bracer up. Generally, you don't see this item on Weaver, but he just respects the killing power of S4. In fact, S4 walking forward.
Mid. S4, Firefly up. He knows something's coming his way, and it is QQQ. And he's going to dodge it. Smoke gank off the mark. And S4 dodges a bullet. Still driven off the lane. He will be able to go into the jungle and clear up some camps.
He's got a regen rune, so he should be fine.
It's close so far, Lumi.
Yeah. I think Super is actually doing great on the mid lane. You can't really stop a bat from farming because he has so much base damage because of sticky napalm. You gotta just make sure that you get your own farm, and if you get a free kill on him in the mid lane, that's a kill that Super will really be happy for.
DK have fantastically individual talents on their support roles. QQQ and Dai, legendary players in their own right, but we have seen them struggle a bit with some of their early movements and success on ganks, and they do tend to fall behind in levels, and you see that here. 2 on the Shadow Demon, 3 on the Jakiro. On the side of Alliance, you have 4 on the Chen and the Windrunner, and they're not Alliance not really suffering too much for it. So I do worry about DK's mid game because you want some items on levels on these heroes. Now S4 gets disrupted, caught in the river. Ice Pet to fly. It's too early and it's off the mark. S4 is gonna live. That's 3 heroes. He gets the rune and gets out. Or actually RTK does, but S4 living.
And it's a reason why the Alliance supports are leading in terms of experience. If you look at what they're doing in the jungle, they're stacking relentlessly, they're jungling, they're pulling. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're seeing these gank attempts. They're not really happening, and they're not really being successful. Meanwhile, they haven't been stacking. They're forced to kind of fight with Admiral Bulldog on the top lane as well, so they're not really getting as much out of the jungle, and this is where it goes back to Alliance being the most efficient team in the world in terms of stacking, in terms of pulling, in terms of just supports pulling ahead.
I mean, if you're DK, you need multiple heroes to get significant farm. Super's doing pretty well so far. 29-0 is not bad mid. The Darkseer's farming well. But if you have anyone who's just completely under level, doesn't have boots, against a Bat Rider, a Prophet, and an Anti-Mage, these mobile, bursty type heroes, you're going to die and you're going to feed in the mid game. So it's going to be important for them to secure some support farm, and they'll try to do it now. DK looking for a tier 1 top, trying to match the one that Alliance took earlier. The Glyph is popped. You can see some illusions from RTK, just scouting out the Ancients, and DK will answer Alliance back. No TP reaction. Will Burning get the last hit? He's going Battle Fury, so this matters quite a bit, and he will. The tower to Burning. He's got his Claymore now. It's going to be a Battle Fury rush. Greevil's Greed max.
Yeah, he's gone back for that.
And I guess my question is this enough? Or are the supports of Alliance getting too much, and is Loda getting too much?
Yeah, generally you say, hey, tier 1 tower went down for Alliance, and then if you look at the other side of the map, S4 isn't pushing. Loda isn't really harassing the tier 2 bot. You say, you know, perhaps Alliance got the worst end of the trade, but if you look at the jungle, the supports are farming well. Both solos are farming extremely well. I think Alliance giving up a tier 1 tower like that, it's completely fine. And they're now going to force some rotations.
I mean, gold is pretty even here, but you just, again, it's a very big disparity on DK. Their carries are getting a lot. Their supports are getting almost nothing, whereas Alliance is spreading it a lot more evenly. Still a level 2 Shadow Demon, still a level 3 Jakiro. And I just think against the kind of pick-off lineup that Alliance has, you can't have heroes that are just walking liabilities in the mid-game. We'll see, though. Now I think they'll go back and catch up, and they are stacking, they are pulling. We'll see them focus more on their own level progression. And there's a smoke from QQQ. Shutting down S4 before he gets a blink is the ideal thing to do, but S4 has shown some great map awareness. Will he get caught? That's the question.
I really don't think so. I mean, sure, you have supports with Boots of Speed right now, and of course with the Smoke at the Seat, you can make that play. And generally, it's a very good time to smoke during the Nightfall. Well, it's not too good to smoke in the Nightfall, because sometimes you get fogged by night, your smoke breaks, and you don't even see the hero. So let's see how DK use their first smoke. They're going to steal a little bit of RTK's experience, but back to your question, I don't think they can get a kill on S4 unless S4 misplays a bit.
Let's remember they do have a surge to set things up here, so they can surge into a disruption if you get the Ice Path. But then the question is, will Ake be ready? And Ake, already anticipating that gank towards mid, he's parked behind S4. Alliance, they just seem to understand what they need, which is right now, the most important thing is securing S4's Blink Dagger. If we lose our Anti-Mage, if we lose a tier 2 top, that's secondary. Here comes Super. Already a Sentry Ward plopped down. They're just not going to catch him out. Alliance, they're just understanding what they need right now, which right now is the S4 Blink.
So let's look at the race to the battlefield, because Burning's working towards his. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage is... anybody truly ahead here on that race? It seems pretty even.
Burning, Rain of Health for him. Broadsword and Claymore, so he's really close. Loda, Rain of Health up, 550 gold. There's got to be something on the current, and there is.
He's got power trits.
Yep,
so.
He's got power trits, so he'll have a slight farming advantage once he gets his Battle Fury, but Burning should have his first. Despite 10 less CS, he is up 300 gold.
Yep, and that's what Greevil does for you.
Now, when you go Battle Fury Alchemist, though, because you keep on bringing up, and I think it's a great point, how Alliance are stacking the camps constantly, DK's not really doing that. I mean, there's a few stacks here, well, just one big stack right now, but the Ancients aren't getting stacked, and I think that's super important for them. With the tier 1 down bottom, though, it's going to be a lot harder to farm those, even if they do stack it.
Haste Rune gets picked up here by Super on the top lane here. DK, they want to play a very slow-paced game, but I think this game is about to get a little bit more exciting. S4 picks up a Blink Dagger. The mid lane completely warded down, so DK is playing blind, and I think Super might be the first target. They do have enough chain stun. They do have enough lockdown to get that kill. S4 thinking about that jump.
Hell, they could even get Burning if his Chemical Rage is down. He can't be too greedy here.
He's used.
And I do want to point out, Bulldog, here we go. Blink, initiation, Super's caught. They need the chain stun. Stomps there, he's low, and he's dead. Never had a chance. Alliance, quick and efficient. No mercy.
Very, very important in the Nightfall to make sure you have a ward on the enemy hill, because those are the plays that's going to happen here. It looks like we have a little bit technical difficulty, but that was perfectly executed. We saw a Blink, Flaming Lasso, Chen Creep Clap, and then you have your Ursa Clap. Wrath of Nature came, and of course the Flame Break to seal the deal. Everything on top for EGM and the entire Alliance team. Very well played.
Yeah, we'll have a quick pause here, but right now it's a very even game in terms of gold. Experience is going Alliance's way pretty heavily, and this just goes back to how well they use the jungle. But for me, it's all about just the mid-game movements of both teams. And Alliance, so far they haven't moved much, but they have a smoke on Ake now, and he's level 6. Already Arcanes are up on EGM already. He's level 6 as well. Actually, by the way, he's holding on to quite a few skill points. Wants to see if he... Ideally, I think he'd like to level up the Shackle if they go for that gank. But if he gets into trouble, he'll skill up Wind Run. But I think Alliance is going to go for that gank soon. And it might be successful here with such a highly leveled Windrunner.
Well, we're going to see a Genk attempt coming to Loda. Loda disrupted. He's going to have Blink, so your stun Ice Bath's got to be perfect. It will hit here. And look at the damage output. 3 illusions just burning anti-mage away. And that's the reason why you don't level up Mana Break against a Shadow Demon, of course, against a Darkseer as well, because the Mana Break will be applied to the enemy illusions and will be dealt back to you.
I mean, I like what DK did there, because you want to at least put some pressure on Loda. They dropped the wall, which in some situations could be disastrous, but it's early game. They're probably not going to need that wall for some time. It was a nice thought. They don't have that much lockdown for an anti-mage now. Burning will provide the majority of it in the mid game with a Shadow Blade to set up his unstable concoctions, and then eventually we assume with an Abyssal Blade. But without Burning, they can't really kill Loda unless he's low or he's overextended.
Yeah.
And again, that's where having Ake is your insurance policy. Alliance do a really nice job, I think better than any team, of protecting their carry.
But it goes back to your say, DK doesn't need to get that kill. Sure, they will be happy to have one against Loda, but just forcing him off the lane a little bit, make sure that he's not kind of going crazy with the farm. Speaking of Burning, he's got Treads up, he's got his Battle Fury, he's got his Quelling Blade. It's farm time, baby.
You talked about those carry supports. I do want to point out that QQQ is level 3, Dai MMY is level 4,
My goodness.
and both of Alliance's heroes are already level 6, Ake and EGM. Now we'll see a smoke from Alliance rotating through the river, S4 in the front lines. Looks like they want to have a go at Burning, but they're not going to find him because Burning has rotated bottom and his team smoked up behind him. Both teams going to be off the mark with their smokes. In this kind of situation, I think Alliance are going to come out on top here. They've got the better pushing lineup.
Don't forget the fact that ROTK has a mech. I'm not sure whether Alliance want to defend. If Alliance is trying to defend, they're in for a rude surprise because they haven't seen that ROTK mech just yet. They're not actually pushing it. In fact, it's Aki in the enemy jungle. I think Tier 1 Tower is going to fall for free. The first time I've seen in a long time that Alliance gets somewhat outmaneuvered.
Well, Alliance was doing a really smart thing, though. They were scouting the jungle to see if there are any stacks. And if there were, you could steal the Alchemist stacks. That's a huge loss for him. But there aren't any stacks to steal. Now they'll wrap around mid lane. It looks like they're waiting for a TP defense. S4 is ready to leave. This will be a really dangerous tower to TP into. If DK want to defend it, they should TP to the tier 2. But DK, one tower down, looking for their second bottom, and Alliance are just going to go for a trade. They've got the Windrunner, EGM plinking away at it, and now with Bulldog TPing in, the tier 1's going to fall soon bottom, it's going to go to Burning, and DK want to defend. Here come the TPs, a rainbow of them, ROTK surging forward. Back is there, not going to be nearly enough, though he couldn't even get close. In the end, though, tier 1 going to Burning. And Alliance not getting a trade yet, but that tower's low, and against Anti-Mage and Prophet, it's only a matter of time before it falls.
Yeah, very smart play here by DK. They noticed that the Firefly was used, and such that once a TP came there...
Burning. He's just TP'd in top. His teammates don't have them. This could be a kill. This will be huge if they pick him off.
Yeah, there's no teleport scroll. Keep in mind that all of them went to the mid lane. Burning does not have his ultimate just yet. He'll have in a couple seconds.
And they're diving mid now. They have caught out S4. Shackled, nope, not going to latch. S4 low and S4 dead. But if Burning falls, it'll be a great trade for the Alliance. And Burning is going to fall 1 for 1. But when you get a Battle Fury out, you got to say advantage. No,
mid lane
maybe
EGM
not.
In huge trouble. EGM gets picked off here.
Make it a 2 for 1. And maybe then it's DK's trade, or at least an even one.
Well, they're going to work on that tier 1 tower. They have the siege unit. They're going to blow through everything. And of course, they have mech available in about 30 seconds. Let's see if Alliance can make this event. They don't have Glyph. And really, they're going to go for a 1-for-1 trade. In fact, DK, we don't expect this team to play aggressive. Traditionally, they only play defensive 4 protects 1. But this team has evolved over the past couple months, and now they're kind of piling the aggression against Alliance.
It's really an even trade, and now Loda gets his Battle Fury. The reason I think it's so even is also because DK supports desperately needed levels, and participating in 2 kills there catches them up a lot, especially that Jakiro. Suddenly up to level 6. Super now, Perseverance for him. So we haven't talked too much about Super. Obviously, he got that first blood mid. Fantastic play. He hasn't farmed that great, but this is a game to me where Weaver absolutely must get a Lincoln Sphere. Otherwise, he's just food in the mid game.
Yeah, Sprout into a Shackle Shot is not what you want to deal with. Of course, Flaming Lasso, we saw him getting killed earlier. He's not farming particularly too well, but it is a solo mid Weaver against a Bat Rider, so he's on track. Of course, he's 2-1-1, and we're going to see a little bit of smoke here coming out from DK.
DK is just not putting much priority on stacking their jungle. Roaming is 4. You're running a Battle Fury Alch. I would like to see more of that. It just seems to
me... Maybe they realize, you know what, if we lose a fight, we're going to lose that stack. Like, it is kind of a, iffy situation.
If that's the case, that's certainly next level. Maybe it'll be previous level. We'll have to see. Big smoke. In come the Chen creeps. They'll be revealed. DK here, still smoked up. Creeps do not reveal smoke, but Alliance should be very suspicious now. Ake, though, coming back. No, where's he going? Looks like they're trying to steal Loda stack. Oh, Grand Theft Agents. Here we go.
I'm not sure whether you want to take this fight against 3 Chen creeps over there. Dual breath gets dropped out here.
Look for S4. Flame breaks in. Lasso's burning, pulling him back. Burning's trapped on the far side of the cliff, but running for dear life. Mech's there from RTK, already used. Burning still alive. Wall deployed.
Disruption.
Bulldog low. Bulldog dead. QQQ the trade. Loda standing strong. Burning on the run. Alliance seeming to pull ahead here. 3 dead. Could be 5 soon. Burning will fall. 4 heroes dead. You can't even take their ancients without paying the price, Lumi.
That is not a good position for DK to fight when the enemy team have perfect vision of you because of Firefly, and the fact that you're in a very concentrated shackle shot on the mid lane. Super hits it back to the trees. Can they get that kill? Nice time lapse in the back. He's gonna try to kill that S4. There's a net Saguchi back out.
Close.
And Blink Dagger being disabled here by those. He's in fact thinking about going back. Super is like 1v4.
His team's back up. S4 sticking around for a while. The tier 1 fallen made it goes to Alliance. Now they got to get out. They surge in Super. Not that he needs the move speed. Now with an Ion Shell trying to burn 2 supports. He wants 2 kills. Ake's going to fall. Look for EGM to be in a lot of trouble here soon.
Oh.
And another pause from DK. Unfortunate timing. EGM, we could take a quick second here. He does have Shackle Shot. Super's not really lined up for one. At least not easily. Looks like EGM might fall. Is S4 in position? No lasso.
Well, whatever the case, it's going to give EGM a little bit of time to spend his 1,000 gold because you definitely don't want to lose it.
I mean, Alliance is just more efficient this game. I think that's really the story. Their efficiency is unparalleled. They've stacked their Ancients. They got more levels on their supports early. The smoke ganks of DK did not work, so they fell behind. They defend their own Ancients, and when they're fighting, Loda's getting killed, so he's not wasting time there. And they have the better split push lineup. Anti-Mage and Prophet. I mean, not that DK's is bad, but when you've got the global mobility of Prophet and the best split pushing carry in Anti-Mage, outside of Phantom Lancer, ultimately this tempo and just finding these small pickups with Batrider, chaotic fights, I just feel like this is Alliance's game right now, and DK are being forced to react.
I agree. I feel like in this high level of play, when you're playing your winner bracket semifinal match, whoever makes fewer mistakes wins the game. And so far, we see DK walking up a hill, trying to take the enemy ancient. One big mistake. I don't think they have lost a game or anything like that, but it definitely sets them back a little bit. You say that Alliance has been a lot more efficient in terms of pulling the camps and stacking, and I absolutely agree. I think DK has been a lot more efficient with pushing. They have locked down a lot of towers. They have defended their own towers, so I think DK edges out Alliance on that part.
The one issue with the tower advantage is nice, but when you're against a Prophet and an Anti-Mage, it's pretty...
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to lose your own towers, right? So that's only a temporary advantage. When you secure it and when you focus on it, you've got to turn it into something else. And so far, we have to see if there's anything else coming. Not on pause just yet, but overall, Lumi, the other thing for DK is they will have a Shadowblade and Alk soon. They are on the dire side, so Roshan's always going to be a concern, and I think that's where those tier 1s really matter. Because now Alliance, great lineup to fight in the pit with Batrider and Prophet, just good split push, and that great initiation. But if you don't have the tier 1s up, it's much easier for DK to sneak it.
Well, let's look at the goal graph here as we have a little bit more time. Well, it doesn't see anything. I think it's like near 0. Meanwhile, the experience graph have obviously a very clear advantage going towards Alliance because of the stacking and because of jungling. And for those of you guys who are watching at Dota TV at home, don't forget about the FA button that will give your fantasy points. How many of you guys have Loda on your fantasy team? Anybody in the crowd? I got him too. He's been earning me a lot of points.
So far, Supra's our leader here, 11.5. Solo killed S4. He's had a lot of impact on this game.
I think yesterday he hasn't died at all when he was playing Magnus.
Yeah.
I mean, when you are playing the sometimes suicidal initiator to set up a team fight and you don't die throughout 3 games.
Yeah, his mag, honestly, this tournament, better than Yao's.
Better than Yao's.
Best mag from China so far.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, beating the son of... Can he beat the son of Magnus on mag? We'll have to see.
He definitely killed him in the mid lane, so...
Because right now Alliance is looking to beat Burning with Anti-Mage. So if they do that, then I think DK have to respond in the interest of good competition by beating S4 mag.
I think the Alchemist is the new anti-mage of some sort because he farms a lot faster, he's a lot tankier. Less flashy though, I feel like, as a hero.
Well, not when he starts making chop suey out of you.
Sure,
I mean, there's nothing better than just seeing him swipe those machetes and instantly slice you up. In a man fight, there's not too many carries that can beat Alk, but Anti-Mage with his pretty low base attack time and his illusions might be one of them.
I'm just watching the DK booth, and every time I look over there's more and more staff employees trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, guys, Valve is not having a coffee break, having a smoke, AFK at the wheel. They are working to fix the problems as soon as possible.
Right, of course, you are joining Alliance versus DK. This is the first match out of the best of 3 series. Coming up next, we have Navi versus Tongfu. That should be exciting. But personally, I want to see some lower bracket matches because we had some USA Miracle yesterday, and let's see if the dream continues.
You know, it reminds me just a little bit of that. What was it? The Olympics, I think.
Oh,
where
the
American
Miracle on
Swan.
Ice.
The Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like that. The thing though is this was in the finals, so Liquid's work is not done, and they've got IG.
I just had a mental image of IX Mike skating in his basketball shorts, and it's just like a very awkward combination. Can you imagine that?
I don't even want to imagine that, man. I like IX Mike, but that's too much. Looking at that match though, because that's one of the most exciting matches to me. IG crushed Liquid. They 2-0'd them. And it was in a pretty dominant fashion. 430, out of control. Shadow Fee made it one game, and the other game, Liquid just had a really weird draft.
Yeah, they were like doing offensive trialing tree or something like that.
Yeah.
But Korok, he told the interviewer that that's the matchup they want to play. They want IG to win so they can face them because it's revenge time.
Yeah, this is about pride. Got to defend your home turf if you're Liquid. DK versus Alliance, though. I mean, how you feeling about this match, Lumi?
I mean, we had the analysts make the predictions. We don't generally get the limelight to make the predictions, and now we have a big pause. So your prediction, LD?
The safe and smart money is probably an Alliance. They're undefeated.
They haven't lost any games, yeah?
I got to go with Burning here, man. This guy, if anyone deserves a championship, it just might be him. He's worked hard. Burning your soul for life. 2-1 DK. That's my prediction, but we'll have to see. Alliance is looking really strong.
So
right
normally,
now.
right, when you make the prediction for DK, I'm supposed to say, oh, I'm going with Alliance, but I'm going with Burning as well because, I mean, this is last tournament. I mean, this could be QQQ's last tournament. This could be MNY's last tournament.
I was talking about Burning, but it's not just him.
Yeah.
It's the whole team that many of them could retire.
Yeah, these are the veteran players that have been playing for a long while. They, of course, won big championships, but this is the biggest stage.
Alliance, they do have Loda and Ake, the two veterans who've been around for ages
Living
as well.
legends, as they call themselves.
As Loda calls himself. But they also have three really young players. So I feel like for Alliance, even if they don't win, they'll have their shots. Whereas for DK, this could very well be their last.
Well, I mean, S4 and his team has won a lot of tournaments this year. Aren't they the winningest team?
He's running out of fingers to put those rings on, you know.
Well,
that's a first world problem.
That is a first world problem. 16 minutes in, we're 6-6. Do you feel like any team is really far ahead in this game so far? If we want to jump back into it for a bit.
Again, I think like you look at the numbers and the sort of strategy of the game, and I think it's pretty close. But I just feel like Alliance has sort of the emotional momentum. They're in their comfort zone. None of the Chinese teams, in fact, really nobody has thrown Alliance out of what they want to do.
Right.
It's hard to ban them out, and people have I see some people in forums like, oh, ban out Bulldog, get rid of Prophet and Lone Druid. But then you're giving out the Wisp.
Yeah.
You're giving away anyone that
There's
S4
no way
wants.
you can
the
ban
S4 Pug. You can't ban out Alliance. What you can try to do is just choose your poison.
Right.
So DK chose their poison. They said no Bulldog, Lone Druid.
We'll take the
no
bat.
Wisp.
Yeah.
But they'll give the bat. And here we go. The game's on pause. Game one back underway. It's going to be a quick death perhaps for EGM. Dodges the swarm, still running, but they surge in super. He needs a shackle here. He's running close to the tree line. He's low, and he is going to fall. Killing spree for super. The snow flying high. Delivering what looks to be a Yasha for Loda. Buckler coming as well. Courier not going to get sniped. So Loda, Battle Fury complete, now a Yasha out. And I gotta say, the one thing that does concern me for DK is you're running a Battle Fury out, Max Greevil's Greed, and you're not massively out-farming Loda. You should be.
Yeah, unfortunately he's got died twice thanks to Alliance, great gank and great focus fire during these team fights. The Shadow Blade's up, and that means going to be a little bit more survival in these team fights, and also that means Burning could start looking for some solo kills, perhaps on Admiral Bulldog.
Yeah, Loda's 2-0-2, Burning 0-2-0. Definitely he's at the stronger start. He blinks into the trees. He's hiding there for now, and it looks like these supports aren't going to find him. They're actually scouting in a different direction. Loda, he'll TP out towards mid, and now he'll go and clean up his Ancient. So we reset and we reload, and when we talk about Loda, we also want to talk about Bulldog, because it's a dual core for them. His Prophet, if you let the game go on, will get 6 items, and he'll get them very quickly.
Yeah, one of the things that I actually got a chance to talk to Eternal Envy, which is a former teammate of Admiral Bulldog, he said that one of Admiral Bulldog's strongest strength is that his map sense is immense. After a chaotic team fight, he knows exactly where he needs to go for a TP, for a base push, or for just a tower kill. So look towards Admiral Bulldog making big split push plays throughout the entire game. He needs some items. He needs to finish his Shadow Blade first, which is very close to do so, and after that, the entire map is his.
For DK, I do feel like they have this problem right now where their best ganker is Burning, because he's their longest duration stun, their most damage, and they're only one who can get in sneakily. But here we're going mid. We'll hold that thought. Disruption to start. S4 caught in it. ROTK back in, but 4 staffed away. Will it be enough? Sent home as well. He gets out, and the wall was dropped. DK just cannot find these easy kills. Great support play from EGM as well as Ake yet again.
That's two ultimates being dropped, your wall, your macro pyre, and they can't even say, hey guys, he ported back, let's go Roche, because that was a Chen TP, so he could TP right back.
By the way, that was S4's force staff, not EGM.
Okay.
So to correct myself, great play from S4 as well.
Yeah, where's EGM's carry items? Like, what's going on here?
Where's that rapier?
Yeah,
Come on,
don't see it
EGM.
yet.
Get your act together, man.
Dire's top
I don't know.
tower is
He's not
under
impressing me
attack.
yet with his carry skills.
Well, here comes a big smoke coming out from Alliance. Now, generally, they don't like to smoke during nighttime because you see very little, but you have Bat Rider.
This is the beauty of Bat Rider. So much easier to find these initiations, and they're going to find QQQ now. They want the courier as well. Disruption's there. He knows he's dead, so QQQ will save his courier and give away his own life. That's actually a pretty level-headed decision, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of players would disrupt himself
and died anyway,
and then lost the courier. That would have been a double whammy. But QQQ says, "I'm the 6-row support here, man. Gotta protect my courier."
Yeah, EGM's a 3-roll support, and meanwhile, we see the other end of the spectrum. They are getting close to more items on DK. I think one of the biggest ones is Super's Lincoln's, because after that, he's got a chance to fight. Maybe he doesn't get lassoed, not shackled, can go in and do some damage. But to me, DK, just when you run an Alk, you want to be really ahead in farm. He can get 6 slotted faster than any hero in the game if he gets that farm, and he's not ahead. And they're also not using him to fight early, and he's a better early fighter than Anti-Mage. Again, I just feel like DK, with this kind of lineup and the way the game's developing, they got to be the ones controlling the tempo, but it seems like it's slipping away from them.
Yeah, I don't feel like they are going to be wrestling the tempo back anytime soon. As we see S4 jumping back in, nice defensive force that right back out. But here comes Super with the double damage. You don't want to mess with this guy. Vacuum back here, S4 taking a ton of damage. Sent back on EGM, but it's still chasing at S4. S4 does not have Blink because of the Swarm. Here comes the Iron Shell, but the right clicks. Oh my god. Super just melts him and pick off these Chen Creeps. These Chen Creeps are absolutely huge. If you kill these Chen Creeps, I mean, Ake is going to have to waste a ton of times rebuilding that army.
There was actually no TP on Ake, but still, that's a big kill there. They get the creeps, they force Alliance back, but meanwhile, Loda is farming in the middle lane, uncontested, and Bulldog is as well. It's Whack-A-Mole Dota, and you do kill the Bat Rider, but already S4 is 2 of his biggest items. From here, with BKB and Moods of Travel, probably the 2 main ones he'll want, and beyond that, it's all luxury. You got to say right now, nice kill, but still Alliance in control.
Yep. Meanwhile, we're going to see a little bit of split pushing from our Anti-Mage and Admiral Bulldog. In fact, RTK aggressive, forces out an activation from Admiral.
So Bulldog is a player that really seems to favor Orchid on his Nature's Prophet. Here we go. Sprout on RTK. He mechs up, but now he's shackled. And no, he doesn't even need the shackle. Now a disruption. QQQ, too late to the party. Loda will fall low, but he will not drop.
Well, we've seen the first of many Sprout into shackle shots. And that thing's going to be an issue. But going back to what you were saying earlier, what are they going to do with this Lincoln Sphere? I feel like DK is going to just farm with this Lincoln Sphere. Sure, it helps him survive and helps him play a little bit more aggressive during the team fights, and he's very aggressive in the enemy jungle right now. But I really don't think they could win these fights. It's Alliance advantage by quite a bit.
Yeah, DK can definitely take the slate. They've got the perfect heroes to punish a farmed Anti-Mage in a Darkseer as well as a Shadow Demon. They've got amazing late game between Weaver, Darkseer, and Alchemist. They've got lots of AoE. I don't feel like Alliance clearly has the late game edge in terms of their ability to fight, but it's just their ability to choose when they fight that's way stronger. With Bat Rider and Prophet and Anti-Mage, you have way more mobility. So DK, if they make the right plays and the right moves, they can take this late and they can win it late. But they have less tools at their disposal to make it work.
Yeah, I almost want to say that mobility is a little bit more important than kind of head-up team fight, because when you could take the fights, when you could defend your base and then siege right back instantly, that's a little bit more importantly, at least in my personal opinion. If you see Admiral Bulldog says, my jungle looks a little bit dangerous, let's farm the enemy jungle. You generally don't see any other kind of hero that could do something similar, minus an anti-mage.
They are going for Roche here. S4, fire flying in. He's got a lasso available. Starts with a flame break. QQQ on the high ground. Can't get caught. He needs to be there for the disruption. Roche dropping low. Here comes your Prophet ult. They will disrupt S4. Now the Blink initiation prevented. Chen Creeps coming in. S4 driven back. They are taking a tier 1 top. MMY low. Chen Creeps almost killing him off. Drops a macro. The Aegis will go to Burning. Not denied. But the tier 2 falls top. Alliance give away an Aegis, but they get something decent in return.
Oh. DK gonna TP back instantly. I thought Burning was gonna die to the Chen Creeps. And when Anti-Mage destroyed the top tower, I thought it was...
Or die, rather. Yeah.
Right. I thought it was Aki destroying the Aegis. I was about to go crazy, but now Burning picks it up.
Yeah, I could hear you winding up to yell there. DK, 8-8, 23 minutes in. Very close for them. Alliance the favorites, but in terms of gold, it's even. Experience, 5,000, not that big of a deal, and they're going on Bulldog. He does have a TP available here, so they have detection. The gem's there. He's got a TP soon, Bulldog does. He gets back, no way out. And Bulldog will fall. Another kill for DK. starting to find their footing here, and what a time to start finding it.
Very, very good patience from ROTKs. If you use that vacuum a little bit too early, Bulldog's going to wind that TP and probably makes it home, but he waited until the last moment, and then there's that kill.
So it's ROTK who is the gem now. And I think if you're Alliance, you say, okay, you got us once. We're going to gank you when you're off on your own. RTK is known for his aggressive play and take that gem away. It's very important for DK to have one, not just for ganking the Prophet, but when you're up against this Batrider pick, you need vision to be able to see him coming. And, well, the gem is going to allow you to deward and maintain map control for that.
Yeah, at the same time, though, gem is somewhat dangerous to hold as well because you have a big target for S4 in your head.
That's why he's a target.
Yeah, you get initiated on, and RTK is already a huge target.
He forced stats and he'll break the Lincolns, but Super's still alive. Shackle's there. He is going to fall. Burning, throwing out a stun. Coming in, he's got Aegis, but he's got no mana and no Chemical Rage. It's just not a good time for him to fight.
My goodness.
In fact, he's in trouble. Netted up. Loda's thinking about initiation. Mana Void, a huge ult. Now on to QQQ. Sprouted up, held in position. Alliance standing strong against an Aegis. They want to pick this fight. Bulldog on the run. There's no detection. No, there is. Now Bulldog caught. They Ganser back. 10-9, but Vice Pass there, not enough. Too low for DK. Loda still at full HP. Burning, netted, held in place. Blinky forward. Loda cleaning house. And Burning just can't get a hit off.
Oh my god, the team fight's not over yet. S4. Team Fireflies over the death of an ally.
It's that damn mobility for for Alliance. They're picking everyone apart. They jump on the supports. Burning gets netted. Burning gets isolated. He loses his Aegis. He can't do anything in these fights.
I mean, I think Aki won that team fight for Alliance. 4 nets on the enemy carry, just using it whenever it's coming off cooldown. Milk says this guy can micro. Now we see why.
Yeah, in the clutch, Ake delivering, and Alliance just in control of this game. Here comes Burning. He Shadow Bladed, but he didn't channel his stun yet. Now he'll try to, but he's revealed. Lasso's up. Burning could be caught here. No, slap and chop. 1 to fall, and now DK are on the offense. Ake running for his life. But meanwhile, some illusions of Anti-Mage doing work. They'll drive some heroes back, but they won't stop Super. Ake, once again, no TP. Another Flame Break from S4. Alliance retreating as a unit, but it looks like Ake's going to be left to his own devices here.
Yeah, Ake playing...
Probably dead here. He's still running. He's got a mech. Where's the TP? Here comes Loda. Now the Swarm to fall, and a time-lapse out. The mech is there, and DK can't even find the kill.
Yeah, they can't. Although they're not losing much by chasing too deeply here. Because there's no pushing to tier house or towers, so it's okay to chase a little bit. In fact, they're pushing for that tier 2 as well.
But if you're DK, like, you just got Aegis, right? You just got it on Burning. You wanted to fight. He didn't even have mana for Chemical Rage. He didn't use his Unstable Concoction before Shadow Blading in. It feels to me like DK, I don't know if I'd say they're on tilt, but they're not as polished as they need to be. They can't be making any mistakes against lines, getting picked off, taking fights when they're not in a good position. If you do that against Nature's Prophet and Anti-Mage, they are going to punish you, and they're going to do it heavily.
DK does have a Blink Dagger on Darkseer, picked it up after that team fight. I think they're actually looking to take a team fight. Although here comes S4, he's got the Blink, he's got the Force, he sees QQ a little bit lagging behind, but no, he's going to just deward.
There's now an Orchid on Admiral Bulldog, and there's no BKB yet on Burning, although he's got the gold for it. So he might not be an easy gank, but this puts a lot of pressure on everyone else. Nobody else has BKB, nobody else has Manta. There's a Lincoln's on Super, but you can break that with the Force Staff, the Sprout as well. A lot of these other heroes are going to struggle to find farm and to deal with the split push. And when they do try to deal with it, Alliance can punish that with now 2 ways of initiation. The Batrider as well as the Nature's Prophet.
Yep, so far only a lone Force Staff here on EGM, but that just adds you so much more. I mean, a lot of the damage coming out from DK right now is your wall into your, your standard AoE wombo combo, that kind of thing. But when you can Force Staff your ally who gets caught, suddenly that guy's completely fine.
Yeah, Alliance they already have more mobility and they keep on adding to it. The Force Staff's coming out, the Blinks they already have. DK, they still have this amazing team fight. They have insane damage output, but do they get to put it out? That's the question. And I do have to say, I feel like QQQ has to be there at the right moments. They need some clutch disruptions. If they can bait Alliance into a bad initiation, be it disrupting a hero after he gets lassoed, be it disrupting the Bat when he tries to jump in, even catching Loda, then I think these fights can go their way. But a lot of it rests on a very underleveled and underfarmed Shadow Demon. It's hard to be in that position against the Alliance lineup.
Yeah, very aggressive smoke coming out from DK. I think they want to kill AM, but how do you kill AM? There's no real lockdown. You got to disrupt perfectly into an ice path.
He's got BKB now. I mean, they have to just jump him. If he actually sees them coming, there's just no way.
Surge.
There they go.
That's going to be good.
They need this ice pad to land. It will. EGM.
No,
BKB up from Loda. He's purged. It will still slow him down even after the BKB. Now a blink from RTK. Loda driven back. His 10-second BKB not doing much now. Burning. BKB up as well. His also wasted. The Dire Courier has fallen. I believe Bulldog sniping it at the Secret Shop during that time. Big plays from him.
Both carries
and
losing.
What was on that? Nothing on the Courier, but just losing it hurts.
Yeah, both teams losing their 10-second BKB charge, but that was a big smoke gank that failed. Nobody was farming on DK's side. Meanwhile, of course, obviously, Aki and the rest of his team is farming, so Alliance advantage again.
Yeah, neither team was farming. Well, Bulldog was ganking the Courier, but the thing is, Alliance can go back to farming quicker because they have a Prophet and anti-maves. Right. They get to the creeps faster. A lot of these DK heroes got to run there. Even if you're surging or Sakuchiing, it's not a global TP. Alliance, they just have more options here. They've got more ways to take fights, more ways to avoid them if they want to. And right now, although DK are fighting decently, is it going to be enough?
He sees all. Firefly thinking about trying to set up.
This is really hard. He's going to lasso RTK, the one who has the mech, shackled and pulled into the pit. And there's just no way. And this is why Batman is so hard to play against. And Lumi, he lost the gem. That's huge.
I mean, S4 cancels the smoke stare as well on the way back.
They have no gem against the Shadowblade Prophet, who already is just very hard to gank. This is a big problem.
Yeah, earlier I felt like DK was dictating the pace of the game. They were pushing a lot of towers. In fact, they were forcing Alliance to defend the tower or forcing Alliance to go for trades. Now, 20 minutes later, I feel like Alliance says, we're going to go for random pickoffs. We're going to drag the game out. We're going to Prophet TP for kills. We're going to anti-mage blinks for creep kills. And slowly, I think DK is going to get outmaneuvered and outfarmed.
Yeah, that's what we see right now. Load of pressure in the bottom lane. The tier 2 falls. Alliance starting to cinch that noose a bit tighter. DK not out of this yet by any means, but now Alliance work towards their next big items. S4, 3,000 gold, Boots of Travel, BKB, Shiva's, it's all soon an option for him. EGM's got money. Hell, the entire team's sitting on some decent gold. Aside from Ake, he just picked something up.
Here comes Vasher. And that's going to be an issue for Super. I mean, Lincoln Sphere, that's nice. He's working on BKB, or maybe that's later. Either case, Basher is going to be a big deal against you.
No Butterfly. Now, the nice thing with BKB and the Abyssal Blade is they don't make your illusion stronger. So against the Shadow Demon and Darkseer, it means that you'll be much stronger as your main hero relative to your own illusions.
It just gives them a way to kind of fight head-to-head against Burning. If Burning slow down or trying to run away for whatever reason, then he's going to be in trouble. But I just want to kind of point ourselves what kind of game we got here. 12-11, complete even. The goal difference sort of close, 3,000 gold lead, and of course experience 7,500.
Yeah, it's Alliance advantage, but it's not an overwhelming advantage yet.
Right.
Will it get there? That's the question.
I think it's going to get there. Late game mobility is just simply a lot more important, I think, than straight up head-up team fight, which I think DK still has the advantage in, but they really can't fight a team fight or find a team fight.
Yeah, Alliance are just doing a nice job controlling the map, constantly scouting with the Prophet Trance, the Ake creeps. They pretty much are keeping tabs on DK wherever DK goes. Whereas if you look at DK, I mean, just compare the Fog of War for these two teams. You just look at the mini-map here. It's night and day. DK see virtually nothing. Very limited map control because all three lanes are pushing and they lost their gem and they're pretty much fully dewarded, whereas Alliance, they mostly see whatever they need. So with that kind of map vision, you have a lot more confidence to be aggressive.
Well, Burning adds a Basher to his list of items. Once he gets a Abyssal Blade, I wonder if DK start going to make a run for something. Also, keep in mind that Roshan is coming back very, very soon. Just a couple of AM illusions getting disrupted. But here's a big thing. We haven't been talking about these huge items that are slowly being accrued on Alliance. We have the Force Staff up on the EGM for quite a bit. He's sitting up 1,800 gold. We have Nature's Prophet finishing or working towards a Cypher Vice. He's going to have that in like the next 3-4 minutes. And of course, Anti-Mage working on his next item. I think Butterfly is in order. A really, really good item naturally against Basher. And obviously, we're going to see S4 probably going to be going for something like a BKB himself.
Yeah, even a Scythe of Vice could be nice for him, but I think you do want that BKB first. Then you can jump in against almost anything. Demonic Purge is going to slow you down, but you can still Force Staff out of that after the leap, and a lot of this magic damage that you can use to even Shadow Poison can stop the Blink Dagger won't be effective anymore. So BKB is your go-to item, and S4 will have it soon. Boots of Travel is an option as well. Overall, Alliance, split pushing on the lanes, it's you could just see the way the game's going right now, where DK are always reacting to Alliance. They're always defending the push. They're never starting the fights. Roche is back online now. They'll try and force a fight at the Roche pit, but we saw what happened last time. Will DK get burned again? Immediately, Alliance towards the pit. Scouting it out. It's falling pretty fast, but Burning's getting bashed. Alliance know what's up, and now we keep our eyes on S4. He's got a leap. He could come in soon. Loda's there as well, and they need to back off. Are they already too late? There's a net on Burning. Where's that lasso? S4 looking. Leaps and catches him. Disruption needs to be on the mark. Blink. Back from ROTK. Ice Path as well, but Loda with a BKB is God right now. They just can't touch him. Standing strong. He gets bashed though. Now stunned. Loda in trouble. We won't turn a man down. Not enough. Loda falls. Immediate buyback. Now Ake goes sceptered and driven back, and ROTK with that big vacuum may have just turned this fight.
Yeah, DK don't want to make a chase. I think they should straight go into the Roshan pit and finish it. They have so much damage output on DK, but they're afraid. They don't have sight, and that goes back to what you're saying. There's gem on one team, no gem and wards on the other. Super pops his head out. Really no lasso to be fair, but there is a shackle shot. There are things like Orchid, so gotta be somewhat careful.
Yeah, there's a lot of cooldowns right now for both teams. BKBs are cooling down, lasso's cooling down, wall's cooling down, vacuum is back up, but I don't think either team really wants to fight now unless they just catch someone out, because they don't have their best spells to do it, their best item cooldowns to do it. Burning's up to 4K. If he gets this Aegis and an Abyssal Blade, then it might be the point in the game where DK can force something, so Alliance will continue to contest. Lasso, still 5 seconds off, but S4's prepping to go. Power shot into the pit. Roche is low, but will DK get caught? In comes S4, lassoing Burning, and he's stunning right now. There's your Ice Pad, that's pretty good. The Swarm as well. Burning gets off the stun, and it's a Bulldog. Top locked in position for now. Burning still running. The Aegis, though, it has fallen, picked up by Super, and give DK a nice little victory in that fight. Loda, BKB, leaping in, but a Ghost Scepter from Dai keeps him in fighting condition. If he gets bashed, Loda is dead. He'll blink out, the stun flies, S4, force staff to freedom, down to the low ground, and he'll live. But they only lost the Shadow Demon, they forced out a BKB, a buyback on Loda, and they get the Aegis. Big win for DK.
Huge win for DK. I mean, you're going to the Roshan pit against many things I could sell you. Treants, Chen creeps, power shots, and of course, the biggest of all, the Firefly. But they just knew that they were stronger in a close-up team fight, in a team fight where there's a lot of choke. And here comes the Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, this is that point where Burning is about as big as he's going to get. He's pretty much 6-slotted at this point. Sure, he could buy a new BKB later on. He could replace the Shadow Blade. He can get Boots of Travel. But there's no huge items he can really pick up now that won't cost a ton. And it's not a lone druid this game. He's not a 12-slotted hero. They can't sit back and farm on this lead forever unless they're going to get farm on the other heroes. If Burning keeps on taking farm, at a certain point, it's just going to hurt his team.
Although Super, of course, the big survivor in that team fight, getting an Aegis on him as well, that should kind of influence his item decision. If he was thinking about BKB, maybe he wanted to say, maybe I go Desolator now. I have an Aegis to protect me, of course, with all my spells as well. I think Desolator will be a pretty big pickup, especially to that 15 armor anti-mage, who's tanking quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, Loda's tanking quite a bit, and the Desolator, as well as the Swarm does go through magic immunity, and that minus armor is going to really hurt because the BKB blocks everything else, right? So they really rely on it, aside from Abyssal Blade. And here we go. Up onto the high ground comes EGM. He'll clear out an Observer Ward, QQQ, scouting out, but again, the gem. 2 gems still in Alliance. They never lost one in that fight, and they're using them along with Illusions to de-ward. DK have an Aegis, but can DK force a fight? Super coming in. Aegis online. He wants to go, but he's not going yet.
Yeah, his team was a little bit too slow. I wonder what DK is going to do with this Aegis. Are they going to sit back and farm for maybe a 100-minute game, or are we going to see some sort of timing aggression?
If they want to, again, if they want to go really late with farm, they can't put it all on Burning because he's already maxed.
Right.
You have to find ways to give farm to your supports, and when you're up against Scythe Device, Orchid Prophet, and a Bat Rider with Blink Force, good luck to any of the supports not dying if they enter the lanes to farm.
Well, they're smoked up right now. We see a gem being delivered to ROTK. And looks like we're going to see a huge smoke gang attempt.
Gem number 3 of this game.
Yeah, not being stacked.
Good smoke from DK, wrapping through the enemy jungle. Not spotted out just yet. They'll rotate around. They're going to try to backstab Ake. But losing your Chen for this kind of commitment is not a big loss. Still, though, he may fall. Burning, ROTK, grouped up.
They don't know where he is. They ping him out, but he's too far away.
There's a Radiant Observer Ward, and RTK...
I felt like if they picked off Chen there, sure, you know, you just lost your support hero, but at the same time,
that's good for Alliance.
The creep wave is so close to the tier 2 tower that I think DK could maybe force something. In fact, they're going to just force something, despite not even taking out the Chen.
Just only 3 minutes left to reclaim. Bulldog, as well as Loda, pushing out the 2 side lanes for now. Anti-Mage top, Prophet bottom, and soon this tier 2 will fall. DK, they do take a tier 2. Their first of the game. 38 minutes in, but can they fully breach the Alliance defenses? Alliance still map control going their way, 2 lanes pushing in, only 1 against them. It was a nice tower kill for DK, but their work is not done yet. They've got to find more.
Yeah, they need to go for some key pickoff. You gotta kill Admiral Bulldog, you gotta kill Anti-Mage, because if either one of these heroes is alive, they will just make this game a nightmare. You can see that they're not, despite getting a tier 2, they can't really advance on to get more. They can't really go into the enemy jungle and farm, because they have to go back and deal with these creep wave that's constantly being pushed in. Again, to me, the game is really in Alliance's pocket in the sense that right now they're dictating the pace of game. They're saying, we fight here, we fight there, and DK, really, they are just dancing to the tune, I want to say.
Yeah, they took a tier 2 mid, but Alliance are okay giving that up, because it means at least a minute or 2 of your Aegis is going to be wasted. Then you TP back to defend. The Aegis will soon fall. And for me, we've talked so much about the carry item pickups, but I do want to go back to the supports, because Alliance are getting much more important items on some of their supports. There's an ultimate orb up on EGM. He's working towards the site device. S4 just got Boots of Travel. So sure, you could have Super maybe picking up his third big item soon, I should say. Burning's already 6-slotted. That's great, but you can have a 6-slotted carry, and against the Bat Rider and against the site device, double site device, in fact, if EGM gets one, you can just get locked down and die from full HP to none.
Yeah, I do really like the Boots Travel picked up on Burning though, because that will allow him to spot Admiral Bulldog somewhere on the map, TP, wind up a stun, and probably go for a solo kill. He should be looking for solo kills, probably even on Anti-Mage.
DK, for the time being, sitting back mid. Super will push into the middle lane. He's got now a Demon Edge up the Aegis. Not too much time left on it. And on DK, with that first Aegis that went their way, well, we'll have to see if they actually get anything important. Tier 2 at this point in the game is not the biggest deal. So you got to say for Alliance, they've held the wall. They've held the line pretty nicely. Still standing strong, defending the lanes. Even game, definitely still in the balance. Close in terms of gold. That 12,000 experience lead, not too big of a deal at this stage of the game. It's anybody's ball game, but it's Alliance's tempo.
Alliance not smoked up yet, looking for some sort of engagement into the enemy jungle, but Alliance, or DK wasn't smoked up, Alliance is. Here we go.
Shadow Poison scouting things out. QQQ breaching high ground, S4 lurking. Firefly online, and they will back off. It looks like Alliance just dodging all those bullets. DK though, Aegis about to expire. In fact, did it already. No, it's got like maybe 30 seconds left at most.
This is a pretty big deal. DK spots out that Firefly's on cooldown. That means that for 20 seconds, there's no way you're going to force a defense on the bot tier 2 tower. And I think DK will get one for free.
Well, the trade is there, though. As Loda's already pushing in the top lane, there is a glyph for DK. They'll take a tier 2 uncontested, but the Aegis now goes down. Alliance, they will force some TPs back. The glyph gets popped. Loda's still going to work. He's going towards the butterfly now. Gets, almost caught by an ice path. Not quite, though. If he actually gets caught by that, Alk has an Abyssal Blade. I mean, that could have cost him his life, to be honest.
Yeah, earlier what we've been seeing was disruption into Ice Path to kind of get you up the perfect lockdown. I don't know particularly why, but you could still pop BKB when you come out of the disruption before you get stunned by the Ice Path.
Yeah, it seems like it should stun you immediately,
but it doesn't.
It takes like a split second to kick in, and he's able to BKB.
Yeah, your BKB is instant, so a little bit of a kind of interesting mechanic.
So what you're saying is they either need to initiate with his Abyssal Blade or with the site device if ROTK can ever farm one.
Or an Alchemist Stun if you think that could land. So yeah, SD Disruption and Ice Path is not going to work.
Again, Alliance just doing a nice job controlling the map. They're farming their own jungle. Loda, he's taking the dangerous farm. He pushed in the top lane, uses his illusions to harass supports. Good micro and just good mobility from him. He'll have a butterfly soon, and Bernie doesn't really have room for an MKB here unless he wants to sell his Battle Fury. So his ability to kill Loda is highly contingent on his team getting a site device. And right now, nobody's close to one.
Well, Super is giving a little bit of damage. He's got a Demon Edge, so I imagine he's going to upgrade that to MKB. But Super by himself is not going to do it. Burning is definitely by far the biggest damage. Another tier 2 tower being taken for free. Again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. DK seems, the game plan this game says, we're not going to just lose outer towers or just give them to you for free. In fact, we're going to be aggressively seeking for them. And from minute 2 to now, they're actually doing a pretty good job in terms of knocking down Alliance towers.
A deliberate chess match of a game 1 from both teams. DK and Alliance, blow for blow, not forcing too many fights. Both teams very methodical in their play thus far. 42 minutes in, your score 15-12. Game 1. It's always so important in these best of 3, setting the tempo. If DK somehow did manage to take it, that gives them so much confidence going into game 2. Because Alliance is undefeated. If you take that first game, well, then the ball game is wide open, and you've got to feel like you can take the whole series. But right now, It's hard to see how they do it, at least unless Alliance forces that fight. Alliance sitting back, pushing out the top lane, dodging fights and biding time, because Loda, Butterfly's coming now. And in fact, he should have buyback on top of it.
Yeah. I imagine the next fight's going to occur around the Roshan pit. DK seems like they're very confident, thinking they could win a fight. And when you have heroes like Darkseer, when you have heroes like Magpie or Jakiro, you should be able to do it. Although, dealing against S4 Bad is always, always dangerous.
Yeah, if they get off that combo, Vac into Ice Path, into Wall, that's a very hard fight for Alliance to take. But do they get it off? Alliance so mobile. It's just, can you catch him? That's the question. Right now, Loda, actually, I mentioned he had buyback, but he doesn't have any reliable gold left, so... Oh, actually, he's got 600, not enough. So he needs to farm a little bit more to ensure his buyback, but he's close, and DK are not heading in the right direction to pick him off. Illusions into the enemy jungle. Again, he's just... They're denying every bit of farm they can.
Burning, I mean, he sells his Shadow Blade.
It's got to be
an MKB,
right?
yeah, I know, like...
We'd love to see that Divine Rapier, but to be honest, MKB, there's 35...
MKB actually gives you more damage against a Butterfly than a Divine Rapier, so...
Yeah, the Butterfly gives you 35% evasion, so if you don't have MKB with True Strike, you're missing so many hits that it doesn't necessarily matter. And there's your MKB. Burning, pretty much 6-slotted, right? Where else can he go?
I mean, he could trade it for a new BKB. Doesn't need to do it anytime soon. Maybe you replace a Battle Fury for another big item a little bit later on. But yeah, he's pretty much done. Losing your Shadow Blade is actually a pretty big deal because it allows them to chase if they're winning these team fights. It allows them to give you free pickoffs against Emerald Bulldog. But going back to Emerald Bulldog, his previous map sense, it's just so good. Has he actually got ganked and got picked off this game yet?
No, I mean, he's pretty much 6-slotted as well. Alliance, you look at this Alchemist for Burning, 33,000 gold. It does start to remind you a little bit of that DK versus IG game. Burning had more money than God, but ultimately, Dota's not a one-hero game.
Yeah.
Here comes the smoke from Alliance. This could be the tide turner. EGM's almost got a sight device on that support Windrunner. Maybe trying to snipe the Roche. No, they want to pick off. Super, Lincoln's up though. Shackle to fly. Now they need a lasso. Super BKB though. He might end up getting S4. In comes Burning, focusing S4, but he already lassoed, using his BKB for that nice start, but they need something more. I mean, to be honest, they got the bat, but he already unloaded his spells. They need more than that. They want EGM. They'll blink and back. Hey, lasso's down. Go Roche.
Yeah, they should go for Roche. There is no buyback on Bat Rider. It'll look like a good initiation, and of course, using all your stunts for a Bat Rider.
Can they Roche? They're going to get raxed if they go for this. Look at the tower fall. Alliance just maneuvering around and forcing on the reaction from DK. Now, though, they've caught Loda. He blinks south, and he will end up escaping. So Roche not being played down.
He wants ROTK. The bashes are coming out. Defensive disruption. He now wants super. Nice backtrack. Huge ultimate. That's a kill. He gets out live. Loda buying so much time for his allies, and there is no Roshan going on despite S4 being dead for about 15 more seconds. Are they going to go back for the pit? I think so.
It shows you one thing, which is that they need Burning to kill that anti-mage. When he's BKB'd, they can't do it. And now S4, he's got Boots of Travel. There should be some Ake creeps near the pit, and there are. So this Roche will be contested. Will it be in time? Alliance, they don't want to give an Aegis and a cheese away. That's a lot. And here comes EGM, scouting out with a power shot. It's too late. Roche has fallen. Cheese on the deck. S4, though, disrupted. He could fall after this, but BKB's lasso's Burning. Where is Loda? That's the big question. Oni now joining the fight. Burning, though, no chemical rage. Loda focusing him, steals the regen, bashes him as well. He still has Aegis. Abyssal on Loda, but now the Aegis is down, and no, Burning didn't have it. He actually is going to fall. Super driven back. Alliance finding a way once again. Now the Aegis falls. The cheese is up on QQQ. Alliance give away Roche, and they win the fight.
He's going to try to fight his way out there, gets silenced, gets shackled, and Alliance somehow, some way, gives up the Aegis, wins a team fight. They're not done yet, looking for pickoff, looking for Raxus here. They see MMY, Gold Scepter, BK, Burning buys back for himself. ROTK with the blink while Loda in huge trouble. He just melts, and DK Burning rallies the defense for his team.
Immediate buyback from Loda, a rare misstep from him. He's been really good at not getting picked off. And you know, the thing is, Burning doesn't have an item slot for it. I just thought he picked it up because he's the carry, but couldn't. And then the Weaver picks it up. But you can really see that this Weaver just doesn't do enough damage to do with Loda. At this point, Loda will 1v1 anyone except for Burning. And Burning didn't have Chemical Rage. ended up dying before he could even pop it off and couldn't get back into the fight. Now, it looks like Alliance want to take a first lane of Rax. In command Team Age Illusions, burning, sights up. BKB from Loda, straight onto ROTK. Mana Void's there, slam and jam and brings him down. Burning now, BKB'd well lassoed. He can't really fight, or can he? Now he's channeling a stun, could go on Loda, he'll unleash it, but Alliance are not going to fight a fair fight against Burning. They're just kiting him, surrounding him, and chipping away. Alliance leading now, 24-16.
There's no
Burning
buyback.
is dead, and that just might be game.
There's no buyback, and right now DK dead for 90 seconds on the strongest hero.
That's mega creep.
That's game.
That's GG. DK are going to fall in game 1 of this best of 3. Alliance have stood strong. Why mess with the winning formula? They won't mess with it in game 1. They're going to take 2 lanes of Rax. DK will try to defend. There's a frantic TP from Super, but S4 says, I'm just going to scare you off. 2 lanes of Rax down. DK may fight on, but I guess they have 1 GG fight left in them.
Well,
if Alliance doesn't take 3 lanes of Rax, maybe, just maybe, they 5-man smoke. But Alliance, they want to finish this right now. Cut off the knees of DK. Straight back into the middle lane. No, they're going to send it back.
off. There's no reason to take this fight when everybody's half HP.
Yeah, remember Loda just
no
fought back. If he
Yeah.
dies, that could cost them a lot.
Yeah, well, they say that, but they're going to keep pushing on the top lane. Loda pops his Manta, has a Butterfly, also 3 Keiko on the bank. And of course, since he has no buyback, that's going to get instantly upgraded to a Abyssal Blade, and that's the weapon that he needs to be burning.
I just have to go back to what we kept on talking about, because having those items on supports, the Scythe of Ice on EGM, all the additional lockdown from a Bat Rider and the Prophet with Orchid and Scythe, it really makes a difference, because you can see Bernie just never got to fight. Here we go, on to die, lassos him up, S4, he's pulling that Jakiro out of the base. Here comes Loda, he wants some kills, focusing Super, backing off now though, Burning's coming soon, they get the Jakiro, they may not even go for that 3rd lane of Rax yet, but Alliance now with 2 lanes down, I mean, this is like having 1 finger and trying to plug 20 holes in a dike, it's just not going to happen.
Well, we'll see. ROTK still got that wall. I mean, wall could actually do a ton of damage against anti-mage. If you have enough lockdown and you drop a wall on top of him, some magic could happen. We casted some games where we thought it's completely gone, and things like wall of replica just, might I say, Mouseboard versus Fnatic a while back.
It could happen, but I don't think Alliance is going to make those mistakes. And that's the thing for me, is Alliance, to win this game, have to make big mistakes, whereas DK have to count on mistakes. Before, maybe they had a slight chance of controlling their own destiny. I still feel like Alliance just had the tempo in their grasp, but at least they had a decent shot. Now, leaving the base is virtually impossible. They have to rely on Alliance overextending and doing so in a big way. Loda buyback pulling out. I think if you're Alliance, you secure those buybacks from Prophet as well as Anti-Mage, and then you go for the win.
Yeah, the buyback on Prophet is especially important because he's a hero that can instantly come into the team fight after dying, and we saw him doing that in the previous team fight in the Roshan pit. Was able to do a ton of damage against Bernie, focus him down with this massive array of lockdown spells and items. Meanwhile, for DK, they're definitely not leaving the base. They're definitely staying in the base until they find buyback timer or cooldown, and or gold, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Yeah, Loda, he's got one more item he can buy here, and that's the Abyssal Blade, but the buyback is way more important. They won those fights without his Abyssal Blade. He'll save for the buyback here, and then if he's got the gold, then he'll pick it up and still have it available. Now Alliance just sitting back. If they really want, they could wait for the next Roche, but to be honest, I think all they need are buybacks to win this game.
Right. So, but if we look at, double racks down, I don't think DK is actually in that much trouble. I thought they were going to lose the game right then and there, but DK made some fairly good defenses and was able to repel them away.
Yeah.
I mean, two lanes of big creeps actually doesn't mean anything to Burning, right? He just cleaves them down very easily.
They can't leave their base, though.
They
and you're against the Prophet.
Yep.
You can never... Sure, they might not lose now, but how do they win? That's the question, and I just don't see it.
Well, let's see how deep Burning will go. Are we going to see some Divines?
I don't know. I don't think he just doesn't have an item slot for a Divine Rapier.
Sell your Battle Fury.
Maybe the Battle Fury. Yeah, you could sell the Battle Fury, because to be honest, he's against the mobility of Alliance. You're probably not hitting more than one hero anyway, but he needs Battle Fury to help deal with those creep waves. There's no power for him, so I don't actually know if he can sell it, Lumi. I think he just has nowhere to go except a fresh BKB, which he's already got.
He's already got that. He's got 4K go. We have to kind of question what the late game creativity that Burning could cook up, but we talk a lot about Burning and say, what can he do? I really can't. I mean, I don't think he could do anything, even with the Divine Rapier, because sure, you can Abyssal, for example, Loda, but if you look at the amount of Force Staff on the Radiant team, he'll just get pushed around that team fight, Loda will, and he should be fine. EGM's got one, or Chen's got one, and yeah, I think 2 will be enough when you have things like Hexes, Silences. it's hard to find a kill against these guys. Of course, S4's got one
It's
as well.
tough to beat DK. Now, if they do lose this game, it's a best of 3, but they'll be 1 game away from being knocked down to the losers bracket. If you win this best of 3, you are guaranteed top 3 at the International 3. So it's a massive game. The stakes here are huge. And after that, I mean, you're really in the money in the top 3. So I wouldn't say the team's relaxed or let up, but they feel a lot happier knowing that no matter what happens, they've done really damn well.
Yeah, but a lot of these teams are coming not to get top 3. They are coming to win it all. So this is the first step. DK walking up the top lane. I think it's very smart for DK to take a fight outside of their base, because if there's a prolonged team fight within the shadow of that tier 3 tower, the towers and even the racks could go down. So DK...
And they have to make sure not only that they take the fight outside of their base, but that the creeps are outside of it. Because otherwise, Bulldog can just, if let's say he dies, buys back, and just straight onto the racks. And you also have Chen creeps to worry about. You can even Boots of Travel in your anti-mage for Loda. So yeah, they have to take the fight outside of their base, and they've got to keep the creeps out. And against Prophet and anti-mage, that is nigh impossible.
Well, we do have 3k gold on Super as well. I think most of it's saving for a buyback. Though
they need him to have 2 more items at least, I feel like, to have any shot, because Bernie just can't do it alone. That's the beauty of Batrider and Mass Scythe Device, Mass Force Staff. Against a melee carry in the late game, he just gets kited.
Yeah.
This is not a ranged hero, this is not a hero with bling, and Alchemist, as amazing of a farmer as he is, he does have his limitations.
I almost think that Super is going to have to be the biggest and strongest hero for the team, because, like you said, I don't think Alchemist could really do too much damage.
Yeah, I actually think it comes down to RTK, because we have not really seen a good vacuum wall from him. And the reason is, Alliances have so much lockdown, he's always getting caught.
Right.
He's getting caught by Orchid. He hasn't gone for the BKB build that we've seen a lot of the other Darkseer players favor. I think Yao's a good example of that. He's gone for the Scythe Device build, but he keeps on getting locked down and can't get off his vac wall.
At the same time, he's dealing against multiple BKB. Anti-Mage got one, S4's got one, and you can see they're how afraid of these Anti-Mage illusions. They're trying their best to kind of slow down these push by disrupting it, purging it, things of that nature.
Shackle to fly, it's going to latch on Burning. Do they jump this? S4 says, hell yeah, there's your lasso. No disruption from QQQ. Where was the disruption? Now he's going to fall. He can buy back. RTK will be disrupted. Buyback from Burning. And Alliance have forced out a big one right before Roche as well. And they will retreat out. Super giving chase. DK know that they have to make something happen now.
Ooh, they
want Bulldog, but he's going to BKB, dodges the stun. Do they keep on fighting Loda? He really wants to leave.
Gets shackled. Oh my goodness.
Disrupted. Meanwhile, it's just illusions cleaning up the racks, but here comes the TP from Bulldog on to Adai. Now sprouting Burning, he's isolating everyone.
Forces out a 10-second BKB.
Oh, Burning trapped. He's just completely trapped here. Now a back wall, but it's great force staff. Everybody's spreading to the winds, and Alliance are just completely juking the pants off of DK.
RNGesus Loda. Oh my god. And they will force out GG from DK.
And that was a GG. Alliance, could you point to a mistake that game? I hardly feel like there were any that mattered. Virtually flawless play against DK. Impressive, to say the least.
S4 remains undefeated on the Batrider. You do not give this guy his bat. Although, again, it goes back to the draft. If you don't give bat, you have to either get Wisp or Lone Druid, and that doesn't go well for you either.
You can't ban this team out. You got to outplay them, and it's tough. And with that being said, we'll throw it back to James and the rest of the analysts.
Thanks, LD and Lumi. Ben, that last team fight, unbelievable.
It was so ridiculous. It started off with a shackle onto the disruption illusion onto Burning, and then we had S4 blink in, get double force tapped out, and there was no disruption inside. It was actually on cooldown,
yeah, it was on
like
cooldown.
you pointed out. Yeah. And they immediately picked up Burning, and then like the vacuum, and they immediately 3 of them split up. I thought they were going to get 3-man walled and an ice path, but Alliance had just such perfect execution in those team fights.
Yeah, exactly like Ben said, Force Staff, again, coming through big for Alliance. The way they utilize this item is just ridiculously good. And as Luminous was saying, kiting around, Burning especially throughout the entire game, there's nothing DK could really do. And they didn't even have to split push. They could actually fight them straight up despite fighting against the Darkseer with wall.
Yeah, I heard that it was said on the Russian stream that Light of Heavens thought that Alliance were going to win and they were just going to split push to victory, but they did an amazing job controlling Burning on the Alchemist. Mid-game it was Ake. Late game you saw in the final fight it was Admiral Bulldog actually came in and sprouted him, and you can see that, look at that, instantly all 3 members looking to get walled and get away.
And Admiral Bulldog sprouting him during them BKB, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was a very nice reinitiate after the original, and they went for the original kind of initiate onto Burning playing the Alchemist because I think they obviously knew that Disruption was down.
Yeah.
That was a big factor. You saw Disruption used to make anti-mage illusions from Loda. You hit a Shackle, you take him away. Double Force Staff.
Alliance's lineup is just so deep. They had 2 Sights of Ice, they had 2 Force Staffs, even Aki, he had Vlad's, Arcane, Mech, Ghost Scepter, and Force Staff, and he's supposed to be the poorest player on their team. And on the flip side, they didn't have any Force Staffs. They need to be able to push Burning out of the Sprout, and there actually is something as having too much gold. Burning had 10,000 gold, and they just let him free farm, but eventually, if he's the only one with items and he can't buyback, I think he uses buyback, he was still sitting on 6,000 gold, and that's just gold gone to waste. You need Super to have a couple items. I know you were talking about the BKB choice on him, but he still died even going BKB and Lincolns, and even if you leave him alone, he doesn't do any damage.
Exactly, he didn't have any DPS items to really come through in the fights, and that's what they desperately needed. But Alliance is just so super scary. I don't think we've ever seen such a high level of technical play ever before. The way they use Force Staffs, the way they utilize cooldowns of the enemy and on themselves, it's just ridiculous. There's skill shots on everything. The Flame Break from Bat Rider, we saw it at the Ancient spot in the mid game. We saw all the Shackle shots from EGM. It's just so ridiculous. It's perfect execution.
They're also ridiculously good at letting the other team make mistakes. They had a Manta style on the Nature's Prophet too, a rather unusual pickup, but they would just kept sending illusions at the tower and force them to come out, force them to make a mistake. Burning's like, okay, I'll come up and hit some creeps, get shackled, and that's the end of the fight. And they did that with the Phantom Lancer earlier too.
They love to rely on this movement. When we talk about, for example, Dendi is one of these players that wants to go Blink Dagger and Force Stuff on everyone. I think this is the mentality of everyone at Alliance. It's all about relying on moving the opposition, getting them. That's why S4 really likes the Bat Rider, because the lasso can put you in crazy. And if you get like 2 or 3 Force Stuffs, or even if you get Aki playing the Keeper of the Light, and that blinding light also moving people away. They did something like that yesterday versus LGD China. The ability of this team to actually put the opponent in positions they don't want to be is amazing. And I want to point out EGM, he's a 5-position player, but he always manages to find some fire. He was a Wind Runner that had Shipstick and Force Staff and a gem and Arcane Boots.
It's pretty ridiculous, because in comparison, the Shadow Demon had Brown Boots and an Urn, I think.
Shadow Demon, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 2 MKBs too, so it's not like Windrunner was helping him that much.
No, exactly. And I'm actually a bit embarrassed, because I saw the drafts and I was like, Alliance did get one of their dreamy lineups, but DK's lineup was so very good against it. You have Darkseer that can vacuum into Ice Path and Macropyre and Alchemist Stun. You had the Shadow Demon to counter the Bat Rider and the Anti-Mage. And it just felt like, DK might actually stand a chance here. And then Alliance just went ahead and proved to the world just how good they are.
Yeah.
Yep, so there we have it. The Alliance go 1-0 over DK. This is going to be a best of 3. But while we wait for game 2 to start, we're going to throw it over to Casey, who's